What if the primary breadwinner is significantly younger than the spouse? Does it still make sense to defer Social Security till you're 70? Good question, man. My man Martin from California, IA, writes in. I'll try to make this brief. First of all, love your channel. Tons of great info. Thank you, sir. I'll send you a check for the kind words later. Second, I have a question that I thought might make for another YouTube episode. I agree that it is a no-brainer for most married men to wait till 70 to collect Social Security, but what if the man is 8 years younger than his wife? As a husband and primary breadwinner, if I wait till I'm 70 to collect, she would be 78 before collecting the extra benefit. That would be the spousal benefit. To me, this complicates the decision, especially if there's no longevity on either side. What other things should a couple consider in this situation? This is a great question, Martin. Actually, I did my whole video on Karen and Ken. Where Karen had $1 million IRA, and she was 7 years younger than Ken. It kind of challenged the idea of waiting till you're 70, regardless if you're a man or a woman, if you're the primary breadwinner and you are younger. Because in this case, the case of Karen is that for Ken to get a spousal benefit, Karen had to file. You cannot get a spousal benefit unless the spouse files. You just can't do that. So essentially, Ken was getting no benefit while Karen was building up her delayed earnings credits. That's a tough one to me, especially in this case, because Ken was so, his longevity, like Martin's talking about here, wasn't long. And so you're sitting there thinking, all right, if Karen waits till she's 70 to get her benefit with the delayed credits, then Ken will be 77, in which case he starts getting a spousal benefit. And again, that spousal benefit isn't half of Karen's benefit with the delayed credits, it's half of Karen's benefit with the PIA. And so essentially, he's not getting anything, and he's only going to get for 3 until she files. And then we had Ken dying at 80, so he's only going to get a spousal benefit for 3 years. So we ran the numbers. It made sense for me, in my opinion, for Karen to file early in order to open up the spousal benefit for Ken to get it, which is tough, man, because when Ken dies, Karen will just have her reduced benefit for the rest of her life, as opposed to if she waited till 70, having her full benefit plus a delayed earnings credits. That's a tough one. But when I ran the numbers, it just made sense for Karen to take it at 62. Same case here, Martin, is that, now one of the things you could do, and I'll read you an article from AARP, is let's say, Martin, your wife's name's Mary. Let's say Mary has a record on her own benefit. She can take it, at her full retirement age. So I guess you said she's 8 years older than you. So if you're 62, she'll be 70. She can pull her own benefit at 62, 66, 70, doesn't matter. It'll be based on her own benefit for sure. She can pull her benefit there. And then once you file, they'll give her the spousal benefit if it's more. Hard to imagine being more because it's still going to be reduced, right? Because she took it before full retirement age. But if she took it at FRA or beyond, they're going to deem her to take her the most of her spousal benefit or her benefit. But if there's no spousal benefit because you haven't filed, they're going to give her benefit. That's all there is to it. Once you file, she will be able to transition to the greater of the two. It could be reduced depending on when she took it. So it's something to consider. When I was doing the numbers, we didn't have Ken with any benefit at all, none. So here's ARP. The question is, can I file for my Social Security at 62 and switch to a spousal benefit later? And the answer is yes. Only if your spouse is not yet receiving retirement benefits. In this case, you can claim your own benefit at 62 and make the switch to your spousal benefits when your spouse files. Social Security will not pay you the sum of your retirement and spousal benefits. You'll get a payment equal to the higher of the two. If your spouse is already getting benefits when you claim, you are subject to the dean filing, which says you won't have a choice. They're going to pay you the most of the spousal benefit or your own. When you apply for your retirement benefit, you're also automatically entitled to be applying for your spousal benefit if you are entitled to them. Again, you aren't entitled to them until your spouse is filing. The maximum spousal benefit is 50% of the spouse's benefit, primary insurance amount, I should say, not the benefit, the PIA. There are 3 exceptions. We already talked about, well, I didn't talk about it. There are 3 exceptions. Anyway, so what's happening here is they're saying at the end of the day, if you file at 62, in this case, Mary files at 62. She cannot take her spousal benefit because Martin hasn't filed yet because he's only I think he said 54 in this case because he's 8 years younger. Mary can get a reduced benefit of hers. Martin fast forward until he's 70. At that point, Mary's 78. Martin files for his benefit. Now Mary can get a spousal benefit, presuming that is half of Martin's PIA is larger than her benefit. Again, it'll still be reduced. A lot of complexity going on there. Now, Mary's benefit is not increased at all from the years Martin was 66 until he's 70, because the spousal benefit is based on the PIA, the amount that Martin would get as full retirement age. Shows, man, there's just a lot to chomp on here. But it's a tough one. You got to run your own numbers, man. You got to run your numbers. But just remember, if Mary has her own benefit, she could take it at we'll just say full retirement age 66, so it won't be reduced. So then once she hits 78 and you'll be 70 and you file for your benefit, Mary would get half your PIA and it won't be reduced. So in that case, you might want to split the difference and just take your benefit at 66, because then Mary could get half of your PIA at it should be 74 then. That's a tough one there. Anyway, I hope this helps. A lot to chomp on this regard. But anyway, thanks for the question. We'll see you next time.